Happy Wednesday, everybody. We're continuing our study on the Trinity and the Nicene Creed. So, Constantine called on all of the bishops of the Christian Church and asked that they come together at Nicaea to discuss the theology of Christianity. So, who showed up? Well, most bishops were from the east of the Mediterranean and spoke Greek. No issues. Great. Common language, beautiful. But a few bishops were from the west who spoke various languages. So they had to kind of have translators on hand, which kind of muddied the water a little bit too. And according to tradition, 318 bishops attended this meeting. But there were probably over 200 in attendance. So, what happened at the Council of Nicaea? As we discussed yesterday, when you bring a whole bunch of people who are used to doing things a certain way, and then they come together and say, well, now we're going to change all that and come to a common consensus on how we're going to act in the future, you can bet that there were tensions and emotions all around. Many bishops endured suffering and persecution by the Roman Empire before Constantine. So, not only are they asked to be changing their way of doing things, but they're also being asked to do this by the empire that used to persecute them. So this is not great for this council. One can assume that there was probably some hard feelings towards this emperor at the council, so the one who called it. Emperor Constantine knew about these tensions and paid for the bishops' travel, and the bishops were treated sumptuously while they were at Nicaea. So he tried to butter them up with free travel, free stay, free food, and I think it worked. Emperor Constantine even was reported to have kissed the eye socket of Paphnutius, whose eye was gorged out by the persecution, as a form of empathy and a quest for forgiveness. So Emperor Constantine was really trying to show that he's changed, that the empire has changed, and that Christians are actually respected in the empire now, rather than how they used to be persecuted. So, when did the Council of Nicaea start? Well, it convened in June 325 CE. It was overseen by Emperor Constantine, and the goal of this council was to create a creed that they all agreed upon that could ultimately end the controversies generated by Arius. So later down the road, there's a controversy about the Holy Spirit then. But this Council of Nicaea is specifically focusing on the issue of Jesus Christ, the divinity of Christ, which was ultimately brought up, as we know, by Arius. Just to recap about Arius, Arius was a typical priest in Alexandria. He became famous for these controversial ideas. So he wasn't some random guy. He was a trained priest by the Christian Church. He believed that God's logos, or God's reason, is different than the logos that is Jesus Christ. The Son is not of the same substance or nature as the Father. The Son is created. And the Holy Spirit is subordinate to the Son. So now we're getting into this hierarchy. We got the Father, who then created the Son, but the Father created the Holy Spirit to be under the Son. So it goes Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So there is some sort of hierarchy here, according to Arius. Jesus Christ, the created Logos, was created out of nothing, just like us humans, in the very beginning of time. This creation was Jesus Christ, who was the greatest of all created beings, but was not divine and was not begotten or without beginning. Jesus Christ was a mediator for God, and God did not actually suffer or become human. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are united by will, but not by nature or substance. So the only thing keeping them together is because they want to be together. Or God wills them to be together. But it's not because they are created of the same thing. Well, they wouldn't even be created, but they aren't God. So they aren't joined because of their similar substance. Okay, tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more about Arius and his biggest opponent, Athanasius. See you tomorrow. Bye.